So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick, and plus I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulumnaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Bula FM nambang dua na serane wasining ona ni batara ni sibiti ko bekian dana diwa na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ore bengrabe na nantang nongo kanda na dabiti ko ani na rona kaloko ena kamen den deba bili na tebali ni may dabiti ko na wani matakabo na lib sarti ko na bisere tali oni na namaka do batiti ko may kine na kenan daw ro di kanamaki Bula binaka ayo salabilawa do batiki ya wana batara na wani dio na kaloko moni tiki na barumbuka ena Bula FM nambang dua ena sere
In this bulletin, rush for withdrawals as FNPF limits services from tomorrow. Minister says public service review is not slash and burn. And food bank program to get underway this week. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Fiji's human rights record will be scrutinized in Geneva on Wednesday as part of a UN human rights review. Fiji is undergoing its second appraisal under the UN Human Rights Council's Universal Periodic Review, which looks at the human rights records of all UN members. Attorney General Aisaid Qayyum is leading the government delegation to the Geneva session. They will look at a number of issues, including women's rights, the democratic process and the recent elections, freedom of religion and expression, rights to housing and sanitation, the administration of justice and the role of the Human Rights Commission. Representatives from Japan, Namibia and Russia will serve as validators for the review of Fiji. A man has been taken into custody in relation to the death of a woman he allegedly gave some liquid mixture to drink to bring on an abortion. The 24-year-old woman from Ra allegedly told a friend she was going to get some herbal medicine for an abortion from the suspect. The woman was last seen by her friend on Saturday afternoon heading to Tavua town to meet the suspect. She was found dead by her mother early yesterday morning. A post-mortem will be carried out soon. Members of the Fiji National Provident Fund flocked to the main office in Suva today to lodge applications for withdrawals ahead of changes to take place. A number of services will be disrupted from tomorrow. Savara Tambua has more.
Dozens of people packed the waiting area at the FNPF office today. FNPF will begin transferring members' data into its new system from tomorrow. This involves records of 395,000 members, over 8,000 employees' records, and more than 7,000 pension records.
The changes have been basically brought about. You're all aware that there was a decree passed in 2011 to amend the FNPF Act. However, we have postponed implementing it up until this point in time as there were preparatory work being done. Now, on the 1st of November, that new decree will come into full effect.
This is in alignment with the new FNPF decree, which will come into effect on November 1st. Wangairawai is pleading members of the fund to support the new initiative that will be of their benefit in the future.
Our humble plea to all our stakeholders out there, especially our members, to be understanding that that there will be some slowness in the delivery, or there will be to expect some delays, but however we are trying our best to ensure that the delays are minimal and that everyone will have their questions answered to any queries that they may have if they come to us and ask us those questions.
From tomorrow, the Fiji National Provident Fund won't accept applications for withdrawals for housing, unemployment, education, migration and nominations. The service will resume on the 25th of next month. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Comprehensive reforms will be carried out in the civil service to make it relevant for the 21st century. The government is looking at a holistic approach to review the civil service in terms of size, manner of business, remuneration, and hiring and firing methods. Ritika Pratap reports.
The civil service reforms, a major component of the Fiji First Manifesto, will be detailed, comprehensive exercise.
Some people were hired on the basis that they had to give a particular cut of their first pay to the permanent secretary. There are some people who actually had to sleep. Some women had to sleep with the permanent secretary. There are a number of anomalies. I mean, I don't want to list all of them. There are a lot of problems. There are some people who are hired because of, who they knew.
Public Service Minister Ayaz Syed Kayum confirms the review won't be done from within the government. There is discussions for technical expertise from donor countries. Syed Kayum is confident the study will be complete and all its findings implemented within 1 year.
So we hope to get an external party. There's already, like I said in the beginning, a couple of multilateral agencies have shown some interest, and a couple of individual countries have shown some interest. There's different levels of expertise that we can pick from them and put the best team together.
He says they need to fix the fundamental structure of the civil service, an important component of the economy that's been lagging behind.
Yes, there are some who are not doing the job. You find sometimes that in a particular ministry, a particular department may be doing well, but the other side is not doing well. So there may be some systemic issue. There may be issues pertaining to, the structure is not actually right. So there's no simple solution or simple answer to that.
The outcome of the review will determine if there will be job losses. But one thing's for certain, civil servants are in for a major overhaul.
We're not here to, slash and burn. We're here to essentially get the fundamentals right. And we'll work through that process with all the civil servants.
The civil service will retain skilled staff and redirect them to frontline services if need be. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Meanwhile, the minister says the events of 1987 have a lot to do with the deterioration of the public service. Syed Kayum says the much spoken about brain drain has never been fully addressed for 27 years.
Well, in fact, if you talk to some people, they'll say that perhaps the system was wrong before even 87. But there's no doubt, of course, there was a lot of brain drain from the civil service post-1987, the events of 14 May 1987 and indeed 25th of September 1987. But the point is that we need to be able to address those issues. Yes, there has been brain drain. Yes, maybe perhaps there was nepotism even before 1987. But the reality is that there has been no structured approach to reforming the civil service.
He made the comments on FBCTV's For the Record program last night. Coming up, Operation Kurukuru a success, says Fiji Navy.
How are you doing, Fiji? Yes, indeed, fast approaching, the major bulletin. But before we even talk about the major bulletin, what about my little news flash?
Oh my gosh, please don't let him get started on that again.
Getting on the bus yesterday, and then he tells me, brother, move on to the other seat, because we can fit 2 people where you're sitting.
Hey, you can't blame the dude for being honest, okay?
There was nothing honest about what he said. Hi, I'm Pibil.
And I'm Fina,
Your daybreak duo on Gold FM. From Mondays to Fridays.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Turn us on.
मेरा चांद मुझे आया है नजर ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर छाया है नशा मेरे आंखों पर ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर रह जाए ना प्यासा मेरा प्यार मेरे बाहों में भर दे मेरा यार ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। हाय मिर्ची एफएम पर मैं हूं जितेन शांडिल। शामिल हो जाएगा हमारे साथ टुनाइट शो में मंडे टू फ्राइडे फ्रॉम 7 PM to 12 AM। मिर्ची एफएम इट्स ऑन।
Welcome back. This is FBC News. The 2013 Auditor General's report pointed out anomalies in the financial records of Fiji's high commissions and embassies. There were no paid stamps on payment documents and no supporting documents for the charges. In March 2012, $7,700 was paid to Esala Teleni, Fiji's ambassador to China, as an advance and per diem for Teleni to accompany President Ratuepeli Nailatikau to Hong Kong to meet potential visitors and later join the Fiji Sevens team. In September 2013, $2,400 was paid to China Mobile for charges incurred by the ambassador and the consular, but the payment voucher wasn't stamped as being paid. The Foreign Affairs Ministry confirms it has noted the concerns and has implemented changes in various diplomatic missions. There is a possibility of 2 tropical cyclones hitting the country in the cyclone season, with one possibly reaching Category 3. There is also a high probability these cyclones could pass close to or over the northern and eastern parts of country. Permanent Secretary for Infrastructure, Commander Francis Keane, says it's very important that Fijians are quick to heed warnings and take the necessary precautions in order to save lives and protect property. The official tropical cyclone season begins on November 1st and ends on April 30th next year. And the peak period for cyclones in the region is usually from January to March. Fiji has completed a maritime surveillance exercise that saw 12 ships arrested in Operation Kurukuru, conducted with other member countries of the Pacific Island Forum Fisheries Agency. And as Watisoni Rakandroka reports, none of the vessels arrested in the 10-day operation was in Fiji's economic exclusive zone.
The Navy, with assistance from the French Air Force, carried out the surveillance over Fiji waters as part of the Operation Kurukuru 2014.
This is just a fisheries surveillance exercise that does patrol within your own EEZs and looks at the fishing vessels out there just to see if there's any illegal fishing going on.
The operation covered 30 million square kilometers, including the EEZ of 15 countries and Fiji. Commander John Fox says they are waiting for the reports from the Maritime Surveillance Center, which was based in the Solomon Islands capital of Honiara.
I believe there has been some arrests, some illegal fishing that has happened in other countries' EEZ. I believe the number is over 10, and through their own national jurisdiction they will sort that out through their own country's laws.
Operation Kurukuru was jointly carried out with the U.S. Coast Guard and other international agencies. 3 Fijians were part of the monitoring team that was based in Honiara. The vessels nabbed for potential breach of their own fishing licenses were flagged to Thailand, the Philippines and Federate States of Micronesia. The FFA pleased, though, that nations are continuing vigilance at sea and in their own ports. Watisoni Rekanroka, FBC News.
Sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening in sports. After the break, the Veta take out Central Coast Sevens, beating Wellington, and Fijians sign in Australian National Rugby Championship. This and more coming up.
It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to the Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
FM number 2 na sir na ngona ni Ndre manda kay Central Rental sa pagkakita ko sa pagkakita ni Chimevan na koloko. Sabula.
Oya wa wati soni dalai.
Gua ngai musdon.
Nama kikirau bena tolu kina bitu. Ena via kaki. Moliti kina borombuka.
Gori ana lali ne kami. Bula FM number 2 ena sere.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. Fijian club Ndaveta Levu has won the Central Coast Sevens in Australia, beating Wellington 31-19 in the final. Ndaveta defeated Red Rock 24-12 in the semi-final, while Wellington defeated Yamadhya 17-5. Former national rep Emosi Vudanga, who played a key role for the team, was named the most valuable player. Meanwhile, the Fiji 7 squad marches into camp tomorrow in preparation for the next leg of the RB7 series. The 2014-15 CJ Patel Group-sponsored National Football League season will kick off on November 15th. 4 matches will be played in the opening round as decided during the league board meeting on Sunday. 2 rounds of fixtures have been scheduled so far as the league season will take a break after November 23rd to accommodate for the Pacific Cup in Australia and later the Chris Science National Club Championship. The remainder of the fixtures will be approved during the next league board meeting in January 2015. The Vodafone Fiji Under-20 football team is rounding up preparations before it departs for Australia next week. The team will play warm-up games against local Australian clubs before going to New Zealand for the 2014 President's Cup. Rohit Deo caught up with the team at training today.
The Fiji Under-20 side has a number of warm-up matches lined up ahead of next year's World Cup. Team officials believe the more matches the team plays, the better the combination will be.
I think the more the team plays together, against good opposition, the better they will be for it, for their understanding and working together as a team. So I think, the more games that you can get, the better for the team.
The side is taking the Australia tour as a build-up for the President's Cup in New Zealand, which will be held later next month, and Farina says the team is not concerned about winning.
Look, it'll be difficult, but that's a test that we want. We want the boys to play against good sides to gain experience. The results are secondary, really. It'd be great to win the tournament, but I think it's more important the preparation for the team and to play against good sides. You can't ask for more than that.
The Fiji Under-20 team faced the likes of Vanuatu's Amical FC and former Bahraini League champions Buzaitin in the pool stages of the President's Cup. Laced with district reps, the team looks in top form and are fencing their chances of a good outing at the tournament. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Volleyball Federation is conducting a sports first aid program in Suva in conjunction with Pacific Volleyball. This is the first time for such a clinic in Fiji. Here's Josephine Avulo with the details.
The aim of this course is to upskill the administrators with the knowledge to be able to respond to an emergency situations.
Training our officials. When I say officials, this includes coaches, referees at all levels. And Fiji volleyball feels that this is very, very important, especially that we're doing development in the communities, but especially in the school.
Facilitated by Red Cross, the participants are going through training on treating injuries on the sports field. The Fiji Volleyball Federation is overwhelmed to be the first in having such training.
Volleyball is actually the first sport to be having such a course, and especially with first aid in sports. This is the first time ever that a course as such is going to be conducted for any sport. So it's a stepping stone for us.
First aid instructor Riaz Khan says it is important for every sport in Fiji to participate in the training.
It will be quite good if they really go through and learn how to save injuries, because sometimes the ambulance is not on field and it's quite delay in responding. So at least the first aiders are there so they can minimize while they are waiting.
The 3-day training continues at the Fasanok Boardroom tomorrow. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
It's back to Jackie now with business.
Kane farmers in the Lautoka mill area will have to harvest and deliver all their cane to the mill by next Monday. The Sugar Industry Tribunal has announced that crushing at the Lautoka mill will end next Tuesday. The tribunal held discussions with the Sugarcane Growers Council and the Fiji Sugar Corporation to set the date end of the 2014 crushing season at the country's largest sugar mill. The country's first food bank is expected to open sometime this week at the St. Vincent de Paul headquarters on Rugby Patel Street in Suva. It is an initiative of the St. Vincent de Paul Society, with the Ministry of Social Welfare funding the startup with a grant from the EU. Sakiusa Naivoa has more.
St. Vincent de Paul is the first organization to set up a food bank. They will store and manage distribution of the food donated,
which is down there and have been distributed. Some of it has been distributed. We're waiting here on the opening of the food bank, where there'll be it'll be distributed to various NGOs. I mean, it's not because St. Vincent de Paul's running that it's restricted to St. Vincent de Paul. We have a handful of NGOs who's doing the same sort of work as the St. Vincent de Paul, or something similar, and those allocated will have the privilege of receiving this food free of cost.
Only people who desperately need help will be assisted.
The unfortunate ones, to those really living in poverty. Yeah? I mean, if I said it's open to everyone, it could be a free-for-all thing, and then we lose control in it. And we just got to see that the deserving ones get what it is.
Street dwellers and the homeless are also eligible for this program.
Look after a lot of cases of street dwellers. Now, those who live off the street, of course, it's no use giving them a package of food stuff. Maybe they'll come in and they're feeling hungry. If there's noodles, anything we could cook up a meal for them, we'll do that to cater for that market.
The food bank, based at the St. Vincent de Paul building on Rugby Patel Street, should be giving its first assistance to the needy sometime this week. Sakiusa Naivoa, FBC.
Weather time now. There were scattered showers across Fiji today, with the heaviest rain falling in the north, where Mombasa got 8 millimeters up until 9 a.m. this morning. Today's temperatures saw Suva the coolest at 26, Savu reached 27, and Nandi, Lautoka, Mba and Mombasa all hit 29. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, expect occasional rain, heavy at times, and few thunderstorms over the Yasawas, Vanua Levu, Taviuni and the Northern Lau Group. Elsewhere, there will be occasional showers, moderate southeast winds, fresh and gusty at times, and rough seas. The outlook for Wednesday, more rain over the northern parts of Fiji and showers elsewhere. Recapping our main stories, Fiji's human rights record will go under scrutiny in Geneva on Wednesday as part of a UN human rights review. There is a possibility of 2 tropical cyclones hitting the country in the cyclone season, with one possibly reaching Category 3, and the Sugar Industry Tribunal has announced that crushing at Lautoka Mill will end on Tuesday next week. To our poll segment and results from last week's poll question, we had asked, are real estate prices in Fiji realistic? 79% answered no. This week's question we're asking, should there be a fireworks ban? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News, and if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all from us tonight. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good evening.
Wala wala siya matumay hena gono paro taki na yan robongi kebika na matumay buga tali tu na bisere waraki muni na gono paro taki ngo na yan robongi enambula FM nimbulo benaka oya wabika na isoro ranyo na tumani mai na vito na kabiki na tini karuwa ng bongi lebu ena gono paro taki sekoya na yan robongi enambula FM enambandua enasere